Welcome to Old City Radio, live from Yerushalayim.
David HaMelech, King David says, Ivdu et Hashem b'simcha. You have to serve God with joy.
We have to be b'simcha.
Shalom, everybody. We're here, we're learning, we're growing, we're consciously living our lives. We're responding to the horrific events that have happened to us in the way that we know how to, which is to step up to a higher level of love and light and connection and spirituality. You can also get involved in this amazing mission by donating at the link below, so that we can start getting these supplies out to our brothers and sisters on the front lines who really need them most. We have been talking a little bit about emunah and how important emunah is to have in situations like this. Emunah means that even though I may not be able to identify what the purpose is and what the meaning behind this is, I know that it's actually here for my best in the long run. However painful it is, however difficult it is to see the good in it, that really there's a much, much bigger picture that's playing out. And this is just another step, another hurdle along our process. And I actually had this crazy idea. I'm not sure I'm allowed to say it, but I'm going to say it, that our people was founded by Avram Avinu. And he looked around the world. He grew up amongst pagans and idol worshippers, but he started looking around the world and just thought to himself, there's no way there isn't an infinite, conscious, intelligent, loving creator of the universe. He just saw unbelievable things, just how his hands work and how a seed can turn into fruit. How do you get a seed and you put it in the ground, and just with a bit of water and some minerals and sunlight, it turns into this huge tree made out of wood. And then out of that tree made out of wood, you get fruit, mangoes, and it's just phenomenal. The universe is a phenomenal place. So Abraham was looking around at the universe and saying, this isn't random. There must be a creator. And not only is there a creator who's intelligent, but it's loving and kind. How do we know that? Because he created so many different types of fruit and gave us taste buds so that we can enjoy those types of fruit. We don't need 1,000 different types of fruit. If you talk to an evolutionary biologist and ask, why are there so many different types of fruit? I get having 2 or 3 different types of fruit in each climate, but we don't need hundreds, 200, 4,000 thousands of different types of fruit. And so Abraham thought, not only is there a creator, intelligent creator of the universe, but he's kind and he wants me to enjoy the universe. And there's so many beautiful trees and mountains. My daughter actually asked me the other day, why are they animals? What's the point of animals? And I said, I just think it's to show the beauty and the art of the creator of the universe. And we know that the word for artist in Hebrew is umanut. And that's related to the word emunah. Emunah is saying that I know there's an artist. I know there's something behind all of this. And you get a cow and it just eats grass. How can you just eat grass and turn into this big cow? This huge animal made of flesh. And then how does it produce milk? How do we produce milk? Milk's made out of blood. Turns into milk somehow. Perfectly got all the right minerals that the child needs. It's just the world's an amazing, phenomenal place. And we see that there's a beautiful artist who expressed himself in creation. And that's what emunah means. However, I had this idea the other day that we're actually on a higher level than Avram Avinu, and I think he'd be very, very proud of us. How do I see this? Because there's a famous midrash that says that Avram, because he believed in God and he was teaching God consciousness to the world, he was thrown into a fiery furnace, a kivshan esh. So they said, we're just going to kill you for your belief. So he said, okay, I'm not going to give up my belief, because my whole lifeblood, my whole energy, my whole vitality comes from my belief in God. So if I can't believe in God, then there's no point to life anyway. I'm not really called alive. As it says in the Torah, those of you who are truly connected and have a real, authentic, personal, palpable relationship with Hashem, that's what life is. So Abraham says, you know what? I'll go into the fire. So he goes into this fiery furnace, And he walks out completely unscathed. Not a scratch, not a burn, no problem at all. And it was an amazing miracle, an immense miracle. And Avram from that point gets to an even higher level of God consciousness. And he says, you know what? I'm just a servant of Hashem now. I'm just living for whatever Hashem wants from me, I'm going to do. He tells me to go there, I'll go there. Lech lecha, you go, I'll go to the land. Bring up your son as an offering, I'll do that. Whatever Hashem says I'm going to do, because I know for a fact that there's a God. Why are we on a higher level than Avram? Because we also, as a Jewish people, we've been thrown into the fiery furnace for thousands of years now. The destruction of both temples, and the Crusades, and the pogroms, and the Holocaust, and now Gaza. We've been thrown into this fiery furnace year after year after year, generation after generation, but we didn't come out unscathed. We came out very, very, very badly burned. We were badly burned, and we're in a lot of pain. However, we're still not broken, and we still believe in Hashem, and we still do what Hashem tells us to do. So in a way, it's very easy to believe in Hashem when you walk into a fiery furnace and you don't get burnt. So you're like, okay, so obviously I'm going to serve Hashem. That's not so great. But for us, we lost 6 million then, and we've lost thousands now, and we're losing, and we're in pain, and we're crying, and we're burnt, and we're scared. To still say, I'm in the game. Whatever you tell me to do, I'm going to do. That's real emunah. That's even a higher level than Avram Avinu emunah. And I think Avram's looking down on us, and he respects that. He appreciates that. As we said before, emunah really only kicks in when it doesn't make sense. When we're in pain and we don't understand the meaning behind the pain, but we can still hold on to our belief and our loyalty, and just do what we know we need to do, even stronger. I don't know about you, but our Friday night davening was unbelievable this week. Someone got up, the person who led the davening, he said, look, man, we're davening for all our brothers and sisters on the borders, everyone who's not got a minyan, they're not davening, we have to daven for them. Someone actually asked one of the Gedolei Ador, should we be a bit sad on Shabbat? Should we, terrible things are happening? And he said, no, the opposite actually. You've got to be happier, you've got to be more uplifted, you've got to be more connected and more joyful and do it for everyone. So our Friday night davening was out of this world. And I've heard from a few people. I have a friend who lives in Efrat, and he said their davening was the best davening they've ever had. So we're stepping up as a Jewish people to higher levels. You've been listening to Mastering Life. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and share it with all your friends. Let's make the world a better place. We're into becoming stronger. Actually, someone sent me a video of this guy, and he's covered in tattoos, and he's saying, I wasn't at all connected to my Jewish identity growing up, at all, but now because of this I've suddenly woken up. And many people have woken up, and he basically thanks Hamas. He thanks the terrible things that happen. He said, because of you, I now want to work out, what does it mean to be a Jew? What's my Jewish identity? How can I live as a Jew? And he said, my father got kicked out of Iraq, and my mother's family, and the Holocaust or whatever. He said all through the years Jews have been killed, and now this is happening. It's woken up my spark of Judaism, and I'm proud to be a Jew, and thank you, because you've now connected me. And I thought it was a very powerful video. I'd just like to say to him, by the way, that there's a lot more to being a Jew than everyone wants to kill us. But unfortunately that's often what it takes to wake us up. But then hopefully he's going to be able to tap into what it really means to be a Jew, and what Judaism is, and what we have to offer the world, and what the Jewish people have done for the civilization and morality and spirituality for the last 2,000 years, and what Shabbat is, and hopefully we can really give him an empowered Jewish identity that's not empowered just by anti-Semitism, but it's empowered by a deep knowledge and understanding of what Judaism is and what Jews have to offer the world throughout the years. Anyway, if we have time, I saw a beautiful thing. This week's Pasha, Chai Sarah, says Chai Sarah, the second Rashi says, what's Chai Sarah? Shnei Chai Sarah, Kulan Shavim L'Taiva. The whole of her life, all of the years of Sarah's life were equal in goodness. And I'm like, no, they weren't. She had some horrible, terrible times. She was 90 years, she was praying for a child, and and she got abducted by Abimelech and by Pharaoh, and Hagar did what Hagar did, but then she also gave birth to Yitzhak. That must have been an unbelievable day. So how can Rashi say that her whole life is Shavin Latova? It was all good. So I worked out, we learn at the beginning of the Path of the Just, Mesidish Yesharim, that Kirvat Elokim Litov, closeness to Hashem, that is what is good. So what I think the Torah might be saying, or Rashi is saying here, is that for her, it doesn't matter how painful her life was, and it doesn't matter how joyful her life was, she was always deeply connected to Hashem. She always had that tova, that connection. I don't stop believing in Hashem because I'm going through terrible things, and I don't believe more just because things are going my way. I have this consistent understanding that God is with me. God is with me, and everything that's happening to me is for me. The world isn't happening to me or against me. The universe and everything that happened is happening for me in order for me to reach more God consciousness and help more people. So it's an amazing idea. And then I thought about it from last year. The quintessential master of this, and I believe this is why we call him the tzaddik, is Yosef a tzaddik. And Yosef is actually gematria Hashem imcha, God is with you. But there's two beautiful things I read. I actually forgotten who said this. I didn't come up with these ideas, but I read this idea. First, he gets sent into Egypt, and he gets taken to the prison. So this is the pasuk. It says, "V'yikach adnei Yosef oto v'yidneihu el bet hasoar." So his master took Yosef and put him in the prison. Makom asher asurim melech asurim, the place where the prisoners of the king are imprisoned. V'yi sham bebeit hasoar, and he was there in the prison. So the last few words of that verse are completely irrelevant. It says he put him in the prison, and that's where the prisoners are, and he was there in the prison. I know he was there in the prison. You don't need to repeat that. So I've forgotten who said it, but I read this beautiful idea that Yosef, when he was put into prison, he was present. He was just there. He said, okay, this is where I am now. I shouldn't be there. It's not my fault. I hate being here. How can I stop being here? He's not fighting the reality. He's just completely accepting, you know what, this is where I am. This is where God needs me to be now. What do I have to do? And we see actually he becomes great in the prison because he's helping people and he cares about people, and he just feels this is what I need to be doing here. This is where I need to be. So if we're going to go into pits in our life, difficult things and challenging circumstances, but if we can have this attitude of Yosef to say, okay, well, this is where I am now because this is where I need to be, and God is with me here as well, then we can deal with it. Feel our pain, by all means. Cry, by all means. But understand that just completely accept and almost surrender to my current situation, because this is what the artist, the umanut, the umania, he put me here. This is where I'm meant to be. So then, a little bit later in the Parsha, he gets taken out of prison. Pharaoh has these two dreams. In the next Parsha, Pharaoh has these two dreams, and he says, I need someone to interpret my dreams. And they remember that there's a Jewish slave in prison, he can interpret dreams. So Joseph gets whisked out of prison in minutes. He goes and he cuts his hair and he puts on nice clothes, and now suddenly, from being in the lowest of low places, Egypt is the lowest place on the earth, and he was in a prison, in a pit in Egypt. He was in the bottom of the bottom place. He now gets whipped up in minutes to the highest place he could be. He was standing in front of the king of the known world, the most powerful man. And I'll just read this in English. So he interprets the dreams, and then he says, you need to have a wise man to help you rule. And Pharaoh says to him, you shall be in charge of my palace, and by your command shall all the people be sustained. Only by the throne I shall outrank you. So in literally minutes, the lowest slave in the lowest part of the world has become the second in command of the most powerful country in the world. This is a phenomenal thing. The next passage, so the very next thing it says is, Vayayime Paro el Yosef, Re'eh, si natati otcha al kol eretz Mitzrayim. Look, man, I just made you basically the second in command of the whole of Egypt. So once again, our sages say, why does he need to repeat this? He just says, I'm going to make you in charge of everything, of all the people and everything. Only I'll be greater than you. And then the very next line, Pharaoh says to Yosef, see, right, look, I just put you in charge. So I say it doesn't make sense. So what obviously happened is that Pharaoh says to Yosef, you're now the second in command. And Yosef, what reaction do you think someone would have from going from the prison to becoming the second in command? You've just got out of Alcatraz and now you're the deputy president of the United States. You'd expect there to be some crazy celebration. Yosef would be like, what, really? Me? I can't believe this is amazing. Oh, wow, amazing. Obviously, Yosef didn't do that. He just said, okay. Why? Because Pharaoh says, see, no, what are you doing? Why didn't you act? I've just made you to commander the whole of Egypt. So the Rabbi said, it shows that Yosef, when he was in the pit, he was in the pit, and when he was in the palace, he's in the palace. It's all the same. Because Hashem's in the pit, Hashem's in the palace. Wherever you want me to go, that's where I'm going to be. So Yosef didn't freak out when he suddenly became the second in command, because he said, okay, Hashem's there, Hashem's here. I had a shlichut to do. I had some mission that I needed to do in the pit, and now I have a mission to do here. So it's all the same. Shavim. Kulan shavim l'tova. His whole life was equal in good. In the pit and in the palace is all equal. Why is it equal? Because Hashem imach. Hashem's with me. So this is a very, very important message I think we need to be living with in these current very, very difficult times. That Hashem's with us. Hashem's with us, and this is just the shlichut. This is the mission that we are on at the moment. And thank God we're doing our mission here, Faces of America. We're doing our mission of what we can do to help our people, and how we're personally stepping up to become greater people, and then how we're reaching out to you to help us really make a difference and make an impact on people's lives, but not just with raincoats and stuff, which is very important. We need them, and please donate at the link below, but with emunah, to really teach people, let's have emunah. Let's trust that we're doing the right thing. Let's trust that Hashem's got our back. And the biggest emunah maybe is that it's all going to end up good. It's all going to get out of the darkness and out of the fiery furnace. We're going to tap into a very, very high place of light and God consciousness. Be'ezras Hashem, we should be zeicher.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Old City Radio. Hope to see you again very soon.
Remember, this isn't just information, it's tools and practical wisdom to completely transform your life.
Faces International, thank you very much.